The Seahawks and Jamal Adams have agreed on a 4-year extension, the deal worth up to $72 million. It'll make him the NFL's highest paid safety. Contract includes a $20 million signing bonus. The Jaguars released Tim Tebow. The 34-year-old former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback had reunited with his former college coach Urban Meyer in Jacksonville as he tried to revive his NFL career as a tight end. From the NBA, the 76ers have locked up the cornerstone of their franchise. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reports they've signed star center Joel Embiid to a 4-year, $196 million Supermax extension. Keeps him under contract with Philadelphia through the 2026-2027 season, total $261 million. The contract shows the Sixers have no injury concerns with Embiid, explains ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
There are no injury protections in this deal, Ramona reports, and there were protections in his last max deal that if he did get injured and miss games, that he wouldn't be guaranteed the full amount. But this is a fully guaranteed deal for Joel Embiid, who, by the way, negotiated it himself.
An AL East showdown in the first baseball game of the day. Red Sox up 3-2 on the Yankees' bottom 5. Boston currently has the top AL wildcard spot. New York just 2 games back.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Well, did I win a bet today is the question. I forget if we made this a wager. Tebow make the team or not. We might have to go back and look at the stakes on that. Not that I'm rooting against him, but Tim Tebow cut today is the big story for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars, of course, getting ready for a Monday night game in New Orleans. Trevor Lawrence continues to look pretty good out on that practice field. And opinions on Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars offense, Urban Meyer, and everywhere else coming in now that we're days after the first preseason game and the first glimpse of what we saw out of Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence in this edition of the 2021 Jacksonville Jaguars on the road once again, where we love to be. Brent Martineau here at the Mercado Automotive Group's Bentley, Maserati, Jacksonville dealerships. They just opened about a year ago, and they are going to host a big event tonight, and that is one of the reasons why we're here. PXG Women's Match Play Championship coming to World Golf Village. It's going to be a VIP kickoff celebration tonight for that event. The PXG Women's Match Play Championships later in October and early November in St. Augustine. And so we're here at the kickoff celebration. And once again, it's at Mercado Automotive Group's Bentley, Maserati, Jacksonville dealerships. So welcome aboard here on a Tuesday. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Rookie report cards on the way, and we'll go around the NFL as well. Austin Lane, how many clicks do you have on that nice little review of Tim Tebow blocking Saturday night?
Man, I haven't checked in a while since
I
yesterday.
did.
Okay, well then go ahead and enlighten us, please.
Well, as of a half hour ago, and this changes by the minute, 174,000 views.
Cool.
Over 2,500 likes, I believe.
Cool.
I mean, that was a good attempt by you to get your Twitter follower up.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, man. You know, it's all about the clout chasing. It's all about the views at the end of the day. And listen, it's a sad day for sports media people everywhere, including us. You know, we were lucky enough to have Tim Tebow on the Jaguars, and obviously him getting released now. This is really the last day that we can dip ourselves into the Tim Tebow pool and chase some of that Tim Tebow clout because, well, the well has dried up. There really is nothing left to talk about, set aside from him getting released today. So hopefully we can bask in the glory, which is Tim Tebow, one more time today. Before we say farewell.
Yeah, were you surprised at all? I think we talked about this yesterday. It's not that I don't think we're surprised coming off Saturday, and I even told you practice yesterday. I'm not sure it looked great. So I'm not surprised Tim Tebow got cut. I'm not even really surprised that he got cut in the first 5 cuts. But I think we were talking yesterday because of the lack of depth really in the tight end room. Now, they have 6 tight ends, but there's not a ton of depth there still. It's not like they have 8, 9 tight ends in camp that you wondered until they made a move, would they keep Tebow around? So I guess that's the only surprising part that he was let go this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising to me just because, like you alluded to here, as far as our tight end room, like, yes, you have guys like Chris Manhertz. Yes, you have guys like James O'Shaughnessy, but you get this sense that their roster spots are already safe. So how much are those guys going to play, these last 2 preseason games when they are veterans and they're already slated starters? Respectively, O'Shaughnessy probably comes off the bench, and obviously he's your receiving tight end. So when you look at the rest of the guys, you have Tyler Davis, Ben Elfson. You have the guy that just got from Luke Farrell from Ohio State. And that's it. So I figured they would keep Tebow at least for one more game until there was another plan in place, maybe go after another tight end or bring another tight end from the first round of cuts. But that wasn't the circumstance. Now I think it was just more than a couple bad blocks in one preseason game. I think it was just a culmination of this was a guy who essentially was trying his hand in a new position. And it's a new position that takes, in my opinion, a lot of time to learn, not just one preseason, not just one training camp. And, he gave it the old college try. It didn't work out for him, but I'm not going to fault him for trying, not going to fault Urban Meyer for trying to see the experiment. I guess at the end of the day, I am a little surprised that we never saw any kind of gadget stuff. I thought that was going to be a trend, especially now with the modern era NFL. We think of New Orleans. We think of Taysom Hill. You think of the Colts, what they did with Jacoby Brissett last year. It seems like, these highly skilled offensive teams that don't have a Patrick Mahomes or a Russell Wilson, they like to do what they can to get the offense as dynamic as possible. And I thought that Tim Tebow was going to offer maybe a different wrinkle in terms of being dynamic, but Urban Meyer chose not to go that route. I think it's for the best because you know how I felt about it, taking Trevor Lawrence off the field. So best of luck to Tim Tebow down the line now.
Yeah, a little bit later on the show, we'll talk about kind of Tebow's career and is this it now, right? I mean, he's not going to try anything else. He's still an analyst if he wants to be on SEC. He's part owner of the Jacksonville Icemen. He's got so many things going on with his own foundation across the globe, by the way. I mean, we're not just talking about Jacksonville and the United States, but we're talking about the globe. So I think this is it for Tebow when it comes to trying things out. And it's been a wild career, a lot of different chapters to it. So we'll talk about that part of it. But the one thing I wanted to bring up, because I tweeted this today, and you just have to go back. Listen, you got to keep the receipts on this stuff a little bit, Austin. You go back to when he was signed, and everybody was up in arms about how this could be a distraction. Well, I'm not saying they're wrong about that it could have been a distraction. I think you do have to applaud Tebow, the Jags, Urban Meyer, everybody else who was a part of it for not making it a distraction and point that out because it was never a distraction here in Jacksonville. He didn't even talk to the media, Austin. He never once talked to the media. They didn't allow him to, and he didn't want to probably. He doesn't care about that, right? He wanted to settle in as what, one of the 90 players? Urban Meyer did a fantastic job of that, I think. I think every player we talked to about Tebow and asked him, and even though we didn't ask him every single day, that could have been the thing too, but really that wasn't the thing. They all respected Tebow and his bid, and nobody really got up in arms about it, like so many people did when he got signed. And then lastly, I give Urban Meyer credit. Listen, the guy lives like 2 houses down from him. He loves him. I mean, they are big-time buddies. And he just cut him in the first 5 picks. He didn't even give him a chance to hang around for another couple of weeks. He just said, hey, this isn't going to work out, Tim. And he had to know he might have to do that when he brought Tebow in and gave him the opportunity. So I give some credit to Urban Meyer. He could have hung on to him for a couple more weeks, give him more opportunity, and he said, nah, I'm not doing it. So bottom line for me, Austin, I was impressed with the way the Jags handled this. I mean, their social media did nothing with Tebow until Saturday when they wished him happy birthday. This was not like this gimmick, this marketing campaign. This was, hey, give the guy a shot. He's 1 of 90, and they did a good job of protecting that part of it.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job when you had other guys like Trevor, obviously, that, was going to get attention as well. And I think they did a fantastic job, or at least as best as they could have done, of keeping the distractions to a minimum. I mean, obviously, we in the media, we talked about it. There's a couple players that made a habit of like tweeting something or, making jokes, but it was all lighthearted and in good fun. And you allude to Urban Meyer a little bit here, and his first run now as an NFL coach, and then it's the hardest part of NFL coaching. It's being the one that's got to tell these guys that they're not good enough to make their team, and give those cuts. It's the reason why I would never be an NFL coach. I don't want to be responsible for anybody's job getting lost just because, of what I say in my input. That's just not my style. So, Urban Meyer, I'm sure, had to have that conversation with Tim Tebow today, sit him down and say, hey, man, we appreciate what you did, but unfortunately your services are no longer needed here. And in any kind of business, in any kind of facet of life, anytime you mix business and friendships, it can turn out bad. It can turn out horrible. I'm sure that conversation that Urban Meyer had today with Tim Tebow was not an easy one, because not only was he cutting a player on the team, but he's also cutting a friend. He's obviously cutting a person that he's coached in college and that he respects a lot. Now, nobody cares about that at the end of the day. No one's going to play a sad song for you. But I think from Urban Meyer's perspective, this is probably the hardest cut he's going to ever have to do, right? And it's one of the first cuts that he has to do. So I'm not trying to draw any kind of silver linings out of anything here. But the fact that you had to cut I think a great friend and Tim Tebow as one of your very first things as a coach, I think it's only going to make Urban Meyer more, I'm careful how I say this, it's going to make him more initiated to NFL head coaching and realize, like, hey, this is the black eye of coaching sometimes, where you have to let these guys go. At least he got the hardest one out of the way first, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's well said. I mean, bottom line is, and I knew, listen, these guys they knew what was going to happen. And Tebow especially. I've always complimented Tebow for jumping into this arena where he is bound to fail. He's set up to fail. He did it in baseball. He's done it now. And the willingness to do that, he kind of mentioned that a little bit in his tweet today when he did get cut. But, I mean, I think that deserves praise for Tim Tebow. I'm telling you, people wouldn't do that. You're like, Brent, well, you got an opportunity. I mean, the NFL, wouldn't you try it? No, I don't think people would. I don't think people would risk the platform that they already have, the name that they already have, the place in college football history, and really just like this almost power that like Tebow seems to present and what his name represents, to fail in baseball and go ride buses in the minor leagues and then fail in football, transitioning to a position and, quite frankly, put himself out there on a Saturday night in Jacksonville, Florida to, not look that great. So I applaud him for that. I mean, that's always been my thing about the baseball and now this try. But I do believe this initial conversation between Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow, it had to include, hey, man, I might have to cut you. I love you, but I might have to cut you. And you got to be ready for that. Mm-hmm. And I would think Tebow understands that, but still the reality of it is today. And that happened. And that's probably never easy because any competitor doesn't like to be cut and told, hey, you're not good enough to do it. So I'm sure it was a pretty difficult day. Do you buy into this at all, Austin? Troy Aikman says, albeit a short tenure, don't discount the impact Tim Tebow had in helping Urban Meyer with his locker room culture. And knowing the respect Urban has for Tebow, his release sends message to team that this is business.
I mean, I think the team for the most part already gets that. I mean, if you're younger in that locker room, maybe you haven't had that eye-awakening moment yet where a veteran gets cut because of money or someone that you didn't expect to get cut gets cut. But I feel like a lot of guys in that locker room we're going to already expect that. I don't think a lot of guys in that locker room expected, well, Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer are really good friends, so Tim's probably making the team. When they first signed Tebow months ago, that was one of the very first things that I brought up, where if he was going to make this team, there's no way to fake it. You're going to make this team because you earned it. And unfortunately for Tim's sake, he didn't earn it. It didn't work out for him, and the players knew that. So I don't think it brings the locker room together or it brings a newfound respect for Urban Meyer, because at the end of the day, this is the NFL, and you should at least have some sort of inkling how this business is ran.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. I heard it one time over the last 5 or 6 months. From just this, how true it is, whatever, people talk, people say things, but I thought it was really interesting. It stuck with me. I heard that this is how hard they tried to make him just one of 90 players, right? This is how hard just blend in. No special treatment here. Yeah, you're Tim Tebow. And by the way, I think he did a good job of that, just acclimating and being one of the guys. But it's tough for the marketing side of the building not to be like, hey, Tebow, sell tickets, sell jerseys, bring people. I mean, you saw what happened Saturday night. I mean, there were people in Tebow jerseys. The place was erupting, almost Rudy-esque when he went on the field, and then when he was open. So you could have really taken advantage of this from a marketing standpoint. I was told that at some point Urban Meyer said, if you market him, I'll just cut him.
Yeah.
That's how much they want him to be just one of the guys.
Yeah.
So, again, I give credit to them for making him just one of the guys. Tim Tebow cut. We'll have more conversation about Tebow again. What does it mean down the road for his playing career? Is it over? I mean, is there anything else to try? What now for Tim Tebow? Is it now post-athletic career, maybe finally at 34 years old? Austin, what does this mean for the Jags tight end room? Now they have 5. Could we see my bold prediction of making a trade for Zach Ertz happen in the next couple of weeks?
It could very well happen. It's like I said. I mean, I think with Manhurts and O'Shaughnessy, they're on the team already. I'm not sure how much you want to see of them. One would assume that Luke Farrell is going to be on the team just because of where you drafted him, and it's very rare for a team that won one game last season to cut one of their draft picks, especially when he was taken in the 5th round. So they're not getting rid of him. So if you have a tight end room with usually to keep 3 guys, sometimes maybe 4 guys, depending on the H-back. I mean, it's O'Shaughnessy, it's Chris Manhurts, and it's Luke Farrell. Tyler Davis and Ben Ellefson, they're going to get the lion's share, I think, of the reps in preseason, but I think they're on the back end right now of making this team. What it comes down to is what is the reps going to look like these next 2 games. I think that, you can afford to wait till maybe even game number 1, game number 2 of the regular season if you want to make a move at tight end, depending on who gets cut, who gets traded, all this stuff. But I think where they sit right now, pending injuries, knock on wood, I think they're okay. Now, it's not ideal in my opinion, but they're okay.
Yeah, I think they might be. Again, I don't know how bold it is, but I mean, we're doing bold predictions. I said, hey, don't give up on the Zach Ertz stuff just because we made it to camp. I guess that's my bottom line. There's something in the back of my mind, Austin, that still wonders. It's like the Eagles and the Jags both said, hey, let's see how Ertz is doing here, if he wants to be here. And then the Jags might have said something similar about a guy like Minshew.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how he does. Let's see what this is. And if we get to a point where both guys would rather be somewhere else, and maybe we make a move. You could use a little bit of help behind Jalen Hurts, and I mean, a lot could change between now and then. I don't know. There's just like in the back of my mind, I feel like that exists somewhere potentially, and I might just be making it up in the back of my mind, quite frankly. But I tend to agree for now. I'm always this Labor Day guy when it comes to like moves. That's why I was a little surprised by the Schobert move even. Because I feel like around Labor Day, teams get a bit desperate. Now you've played a few preseason games. Now you've been through the whole camp, and you're like, dang, we really don't like how we look here in this room or that room. And then you get a little desperate to make a move. So I feel like Labor Day is still about that time. Now, cuts will be on August 31st this year, a little bit earlier than years past. So I would say still keep an eye on that. But I will tell you this, Austin. I told you this yesterday off air. They love Manhurts. Like, love him. And think he's such a good blocker. And O'Shaughnessy, I talked about just a couple weeks ago. I think he's kind of an underrated star, is a little strong, but underrated in camp so far. I think he's been very good. I think he looks good. And so I do think they like their couple of tight ends probably better than fantasy football owners like their tight ends, quite frankly.
Yeah, I hear you. And I get the whole run-blocking tight end thing, but go ahead and give me the best 5 run-blocking tight ends right now.
Yeah, I don't
in the NFL. You can't do it, right?
The Jags probably think they have 2 of them. They got Farrell,
sure,
one of the best college blocking tight ends, and they got Manhurts. But, I have no idea.
And who knows? Luke Farrell could be he could be a Mercedes Lewis light, and Chris Manhurts could be Mercedes Lewis as well. We'll see. But the point is that the reason why you can't name the top 5 run blocking tight ends is because, well, yeah, it's nice to have, but it's not essential. You would rather have a tight end that can do both, right? Or at least a tight end that's skilled in the receiving game. So, yeah, that's great. They like Manhurts in the run game, and they're going to probably rely on him a lot if they choose to pound the rock with James Robinson and now, Carlos Hyde, by what we're hearing. We'll see what happens there. But at the same time, do you have another guy? Is it going to be O'Shaughnessy who can make you dynamic, who can make linebackers and safeties take note in the middle of the field? Because I get it. You want to pound the rock, so be it. But Urban Meyer has told us how many times he wants to be dynamic. He wants to, he wants to be fast. He wants to have the vertical stretch game. That's fantastic. It helps to have the vertical stretch game. It helps to be dynamic if you have a tight end who at least garners some sort of attention. I don't think Chris Manhertz has earned that yet. Now, he might, but he hasn't earned that quite yet. James O'Shaughnessy has showed glimpses of being that, but he can't stay healthy. So, yeah, I think if you have an opportunity to upgrade the tight end room, you absolutely take it. I'm not sure what it would cost Zach Ertz. Once again, let's see who gets cut here. Let's see all these transactions. But there might be someone that presents itself later down the line.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But Tim Tebow, the story of the day, of course, he's cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars, along with a few other players that might want to hang that waiver wire up in their room.
So here's the real question, because we had a bet regarding Tim Tebow. You made a bet with me that said you thought at least 3 players in the locker room, would get Tim Tebow's autograph. How confident are you with that bet?
Oh, that's a good call.
Because I'm feeling extra confident that didn't happen.
I am. I guarantee you I know one guy who got Tim Tebow's autograph in the locker room.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah?
So I got one.
You think he got his autograph?
Yes, I do.
Do you know that for a fact?
No.
Okay, so maybe just a picture or something then, huh?
Yeah, I think he did.
You think Gardner Minshew, Tim Tebow got his autograph?
I do.
Okay.
I absolutely do.
I'm going to tell you right now, if we ask Gardner Minshew if he got his autograph and he says no, that goes to tell you that you didn't win your bet. Because if Minshew didn't get the autograph, then nobody did.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I probably, well, I don't. Well, I agree that 3 people didn't. If Minshew did,
okay.
Minshew definitely has to be.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I might have to dig into that and find that out. I don't know if anybody will admit it. We said that when we made the bet, but Minshew will admit it.
Okay. No, Percy's had no problem admitting that.
All right, a lot more football talk. We're going to go around the NFL a little bit later on. We've got the rookie report card. Should be a lot of fun. Much more to get to. What happened with the Jags today? Carlos Hyde, how is he going to factor in here in round 2 with the Jags? More to come. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We're live at the Mercado Automotive Group's Bentley and Maserati Jacksonville dealerships. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy today. Keep the rain gear handy with scattered and on and off showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the 80s, dropping into the 70s tonight and partly sunny tomorrow. Scattered, mostly afternoon thunderstorms with highs in the upper 80s. I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years, only at Beards Diamonds.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
Hi, Steve. Have a seat. I just wanted to see how your meeting with Chardonnay went.
Chardonnay?
According to your Peak push-to-talk device, you were with Chardonnay or Porsche or Bambi.
Oh, Bambi, right.
I clicked boop to talk, and I was talking, but you weren't booping.
I can explain.
Love these little things. I know exactly where my people are anytime I need them. Boop.
I was in a boopin' meeting. We got the contract to build the champagne room at the Jiggle and Wiggle Gentlemen's Club.
You have glitter all over your face.
Find your people with a boop. BoopToTalk.com.
Boop.
We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We've tried the loaner program, gone in for routine service, and every experience with Fields Auto Group has been first class. Whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations around Jacksonville. Just visit fieldsauto.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey folks, living in Florida, we don't really worry about the seasons except for one, hurricane season. And since your home is your most important asset, protecting your home with Rhino Shield against harsh Florida weather is good for your house and it's good for your budget. As the saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to your house, those cracks in the walls will cost you thousands if not repaired. Rhino Shield waterproofs your home with a coating that's 13 times thicker than box store paint. It reflects 97% of harmful UV rays, has a Class A fire rating, is salt air corrosive resistant, contains the highest quality ceramics, and of course it comes in any color. Plus, with our 25-year warranty, you get a non-pro-rated 100% transferable warranty that guarantees against chipping, cracking, and peeling. So call 904-519-5055 or visit rhinoshieldjacks.com and protect your house and your budget.
So you'll never have to paint again. Call Rhino Shield today.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service. Tire Outlet.
I'm Rochelle Stoddard, president of Berman Brothers and Rubin Ironworks. The skills and relationships I've built through the Jacksonville Women's Business Center were essential as we succeeded in keeping all 70 of our employees on the payroll during the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the Athena PowerLink mentoring program, we had experienced professionals helping us navigate 2020. Jags Chamber and the Women's Business Center are in our corner, making us stronger in these difficult times. For more information, please visit JagsChamberFoundation.org.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
It's my favorite thing I've done, I think, in the last year at the home fixer-upper department, at the very least. Easy Garage Solutions. I gave them a call. I said, you know what, I'm tired of tripping over stuff in the garage. Can you get all this off the floor? And, well, Easy Garage Solutions, they did it. One-of-a-kind monkey bar technology that lasts a lifetime. So I hang the bikes and the lawn equipment and anything else up on the side walls with that monkey bar technology. It's awesome. Easy Garage Solutions. Shelving and overhead storage for boxes and bins, all the Christmas decorations. Now they're elevated way above. Don't have to worry about tripping over anything. And I created all this space on the floor in the garage. Easy Garage Solutions. They have cabinets and flooring as well. Easy Garage Solutions. Find them at easygaragesolutions.com. It's that easy.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin Lane. Check out Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
The only advantage, I think, to that is just keeping everybody healthy. You know, it's a long season, and you want to keep your running backs fresh and keep everybody, ready to play and be able to wear defenses down. You keep your running backs fresh.
That is Carlos Hyde back in Jacksonville for a second time. And let's just be completely honest here. The first time around wasn't so good with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was like, oof. Remember the whole T.J. Yeldon and Carlos Hyde and Leonard Fournette, and something was amiss, if you remember correctly, from that year, which was not a good year, of course, in Jacksonville. Hey, we're live on location once again. The PXG Women's Match Play Championships coming up at World Golf Village later in October and early November. CBS 47, Fox 30 going to be a partner of that event. And tonight there's a kickoff party here at the Mercado Automotive Group's Bentley and Maserati Jacksonville dealerships. So we are here for that, and good to be here and check it out. And they've been open since June 2020, so just a little over a year now. Pouring on this side of town, guys. Not sure what it's doing on that side of town, but it was a nice hot practice once again for the Jaguars again today.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's getting there, as Jacksonville does. It likes to rain this time of year. Is it Hurricane Fred? starting to make some moves, or Tropical Storm Fred.
I think we're gone.
Is it done?
I think we're done with Fred, but we got Grace rolling through.
Grace now we're on?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I like Grace a little better than Fred. Fred, come on.
Action News Jax at 5, Chief Meteorologist Mike Burris tell you all about it.
Money Mike, I like
Casey. Nice job right there, Casey.
Nicely done.
That is excellent. Anyway, this camp is not over yet, technically. Didn't camp usually end like a couple of days after the first game?
I mean, define camp as in you get to go home, or because, I mean, camp doesn't really end until the last cut, at least from my experience.
So from your experience, it always felt like camp anyway?
Yeah,
I mean, you weren't in the hotel anymore or anything like that?
No, when I was in Kansas City and Chicago, we got out of the dorms and got to go to the hotel. I mean, because I didn't have an apartment at the time, so I stayed at the hotel, which was a giant upgrade from the dorm room beds and everything. But no, you still get the sense that you're in camp until those final cuts. And then once everyone, the final roster's in place, then it feels like the team. Then it feels like the regular season.
Okay, and that will be August 31st, by the way. So that's still a ways off. Jaguars have a couple more preseason games Monday in New Orleans. I'll be in New Orleans for that one. We'll see how much more Trevor Lawrence plays. We'll see how not vanilla the offense is. And we'll see if a guy like Carlos Hyde plays a little bit more. Not many snaps the other day. Austin, Carlos Hyde comes in. He obviously played for Urban Meyer at Ohio State. He's played here once before. When he got signed, what were you thinking? What's his role going to be? You end up with Travis Etienne. You already have James Robinson. What are you thinking this season for Carlos Hyde?
I mean, at the time when Carlos Hyde, was signed, in my mind, it was like, okay, well, this is an Urban Meyer guy. Urban knows him. He's going to give him a shot, and he's going to be fighting to make a roster spot. That's honestly what I thought about, just because their running back room, it was pretty deep. Now, as we dive into it a little further and we see Carlos Hyde at practice and how he looks, and he does look great, and then we've seen what Carlos Hyde did last year in Houston, definitely had a bounce back season from his time in Jacksonville. You get the sense that, Urban likes this guy. I think Bevel likes this guy. I think, there can definitely be a role niched out for him on this team. I think that when you talk about you want to spell James Robinson a little bit and maybe offer a little bit more of a change of pace. I'd say change of pace in the standpoint of in the receiving game as well. I get it. James Robinson last year, he showed flashes of being a receiver in his own outright. But I feel like Carlos Hyde has the advantage there. So to me, it's a little change of pace. It's a little sprinkle of something else. But what we saw from the first preseason game, one would assume that Carlos Hyde has already made this team now.
Oh, Carlos Hyde made the team. I mean, I think the question becomes, how much do we see Carlos Hyde? How much of a part of the offense? And I'm starting to feel like he might be a bigger part of the offense than I initially thought. I kind of, I was a little bit of a head-scratcher. We had not a great experience with Carlos Hyde. Let's just be honest. I mean, no fan had a great experience with Carlos Hyde. It wasn't a good experience. He does look different. His body looks different. I don't know the guy that well, so I'm not going to sit here and crush him. It might have been a variety of reasons. It might have been some of the coaching staff's fault. It might have been the Jags' fault. It might have been there was a lot going on in Jacksonville at the time when Carlos Hyde was here. So I don't know who's to blame, but it wasn't good. So I just was thinking, yeah, whatever. He's just a depth guy, and he runs kind of that same style as James Robinson. So if James, gets hurt, or if you need somebody, now you got some depth, a guy that can run like that. So all those things were going through my mind. But the fact that he only played a few snaps the other day, yeah, he's on the team. But I think it says even more. I think it says we're going to really count on him. And, Urban has said this a bunch about Trevor Lawrence, and I think Trevor Lawrence has even said it. The friend of a rookie quarterback is a running game. And James Robinson was the most productive offensive player a year ago. Urban Meyer has a pedigree of wanting to run the football and build everything around the run. It's the nature of football to begin with. And now they have 3 running backs, and I actually think they even go deeper than that. I think some of their back-end running backs are pretty good, but they have at least 3 running backs who they think can really run the football. I mean, you got a guy who was unbelievable in the ACC. I keep talking about him as a pass catcher because I think that's where he's going to change the Jags offense, and Travis Etienne. But he did run the ball really well at Clemson. Let's not forget that. James Robinson had a heck of a rookie year, top 100 player now. And Carlos Hyde has a history of doing pretty well. He's not a bad player traditionally if you look at his resume. So I think Hyde's going to be really part of this, man. I think they want to thump some people. And the other part of this, Austin, to me, is if you look at what the offensive line is good at, the offensive line proved last year they're better at run blocking than they are at pass blocking. And hopefully they're good at both this year. But if you had to pick one or the other, they're definitely better at run blocking. And so I think the Jaguars are really going to pound the rock this year. As much as Trevor Lawrence is the focal point, I think it's going to be a lot of run.
Yeah, I hear you. You know, I mean, it definitely alludes to that by with having James Robinson and now Carlos Hyde. And Carlos Hyde, you know, his career, if you go back and look at his stats and what he's put up, you know, each year, it's kind of a crazy run. Because if you look at 2017, which is arguably his best year, you see a guy in San Francisco, you know, that had just under 1,000 yards rushing. But in the receiving game, he had 59 receptions that year. And then we go back to 2019 in Houston, goes for over 1,000 yards rushing, but only has 10 receptions. So he's kind of been all over the place depending on the offense that he's played on of what, you know, he's being asked to do. I think that he's played his best brand of football when he is an asset in the receiving game a little bit. When he can keep linebackers and defensive coordinators honest, when it's like, all right, Carlos Hyde's, and well, he could run it. He could be a receiver as well. Let's be on our P's and Q's here. He goes to Seattle last year, you know, and plays sparingly, only starts in one game. Obviously, Seattle, they always have the depth, it seems like, at the running back position. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what Urban Meyer has envisioned here for Carlos Hyde. Obviously, it's going to be a backup to James Robinson. When James Robinson needs a spell, Carlos Hyde is going to come in. But I wonder how much they use him in the receiving game, because he has showed that he can be a dependable target. He has showed that he can be, you know, he has a diverse skill set if he fits in the right offense. The question remains is, what does Urban Meyer envision and what kind of offense will this Jaguars team be running?
Yeah, I think we don't know, right? Well, I mean, we've been out of practice, but we really don't fully know what that offense is going to look like. And I wonder how much he'll showcase that a little more on Monday night. He was obviously not happy with the way they performed on Saturday, but we also didn't see it. I do believe Urban Meyer when he says, well, that wasn't really who we are. You know, I mean, that was an attempt and a bad one at being vanilla, quite frankly, on the offensive side of the football and not showing anything. And so now they've got all our eyes on them on Monday night in New Orleans to see if they do open it up a little bit. I don't think you're going to see the back pages of that playbook, but I do think you'll see some more of the playbook and what it looks like and how involved these guys can all be. I don't know if you can get enough carries to all the guys in the backfield, meaning Etienne, Robinson, and Hyde. But I tell you, going into this, just to kind of put a bow on it, I really thought Carlos Hyde was like a just-in-case guy. Or, hey, 2 or 3. Robinson looks like he's pretty winded on this drive. Let's put him in. We need a short yardage situation. Hyde knows how to get a couple yards. That's what I thought of Carlos Hyde. Listening a little bit more, only 4 snaps or whatever it was the other day, I think he's going to be a bigger part of it. And what that means, I don't really know. It could mean 8 to 10 carries, maybe.